Ryan and Taehyung have been together since their first year in law college. It's been a total of 7 years they've gotten in a relationship. After becoming successful lawyers, fighting and winning several cases, Taehyung proposed to Ryan and asked her to meet his parents. Ryan was raised by her grandfather since childhood. He was like her best friend who knew everything about her. Taehyung was like a son to him. A night before Ryan's meeting with Tae's parents, she found a man and women crying and begging her grandfather at their doorstep. She asked them about their problem, and the couple told her that her son passed away after a drug overdose that was being sold inside the toys, stationery items, and whatnot. They asked her to fight their case, and Ryan eventually agreed. The couple didn't have the money to fight, but she was an honest and kind lawyer who fought for justice. She asked if they had any evidence, and the man showed her a photo where a scorpion tattoo was carved on the dealer's arm. Days passed, and finally it was time to meet Thea's parents. The dinner went great. Only one time Thea's father showed displeasure after getting to know that Ryan was an orphan. But the events took turn when Taehyung asked his dad for salt and Mr. Kim extended his hand revealing his scorpion tattoo. Van recognized it. She knew she had seen it somewhere, but couldn't quite place her finger on it. After dinner, they fixed their engagement date, and the young lawyer couple was overjoyed. The next day, as Ryan was cleaning her desk, she found a photo, the photo of the dealer with a young teenager. Ryan's eyes darted towards the scorpion tattoo, and it felt like the world had stopped moving for a while. She grew anxious and skeptical about fighting the case, but her grandfather was there to guide her. She reminded her why she became a lawyer in the first place. So when the engagement day came, Ryan confronted Taehyung's father, who seemed pretty chill about the situation. He told her to do whatever she can. No one can stop him, especially when he has Taehyung wrapped around his finger. Ryan tried telling Taehyung about the news, but he was drunk in the after engagement party with his friends. The next day, Ryan tried to talk to Taehyung, but he was so busy with all the wedding and professional work that left Ryan with no other choice but to try. The sun peeks through the curtain, casting a warm glow on Taehyung's face as he slowly wakes up. He stretches his arm and yawns, ready to start the day he had been waiting for. He was totally whipped for her. Everyone said this. Even after 7 years, he still felt his heart race after looking at her. He was smiling, imagining her in a wedding dress. However, his peaceful morning is abruptly interrupted by loud noises coming from downstairs. What's going on? He mumbles sleepily. Taehyung quickly gets out of the bed and rushes downstairs, his heart pounding in his chest. As he reaches the living room, the sound of people got louder as if someone was arguing. His eyes widened in shock and disbelief when he saw a group of police officers is gathered in the middle of the room. Their stern expression contrasting with the chaos surrounding them. Taehyung's father stands in handcuffs, his face itched with anger and sadness, while his mother begging the police. Tae's mind races as he tries to process the scene unfolding before him. He never expected to see his father like this. What is happening? He asked, stuttering. An officer turned to him. Are you Taehyung Kim? Taehyung nods, his voice barely above a whisper. The officer states sympathetically. Taehyung's legs feel weak as he struggles to comprehend the gravity of the situation. His father, who he had always looked up to as a role model, now stands accused of a serious crime. I can't believe this. How could he do this? Taehyung asked in disbelief as tears rolled down his cheek. Mr. Kim yelled out of pure rage towards his son's lover. I knew she was a threat to this family since day one. She is the one who made these false allegations. Taehyung, who was shocked beyond limits, looked at his father like a lost puppy. The officers started dragging Mr. Kim out of their house. As the officers escort Mr. Kim out of the house, Taehyung watches in a daze, his mind filled with a whirlwind of emotions. He feels anger, betrayal, and confusion all at once. YN, his YN, she did this to him. He saw his mother running behind the police car. Once the door closes behind them, Taehyung sinks to the floor, tears streaming down his face. He feels a mix of emotions, fear for what lies ahead, and a deep sense of loss. What now? Hours passed as Taehyung sits alone in the empty house, lost in his thoughts. Finally, he musters the strength to pick himself up and wipe away his tears. Determination fills his eyes as he decides what he is gonna do. Soft music plays as the guests settle into their seats, eagerly awaiting for the arrival of the groom. The atmosphere is filled with anticipation and excitement. Wine, dressed in an elegant and beautiful white clothes, stands at the altar, nervously adjusting her outfit and fidgeting with her hands. Breathe, Wyan, just breathe. Everything will be fine, she whispered to herself as it had been 10 minutes since the priest had announced Taehyung's name. Her heart pounds in her chest as she glances at the empty space beside her, where her soon to be husband, Taehyung, is supposed to stand. But Taehyung is nowhere to be seen. Panic starts to creep into Wyan's eyes as she scans the room, searching for any sign of her beloved. Where is he? Why isn't he here? The wedding coordinator approaches Wyan, concern etched on her face. Wyan, I'm so sorry. We're trying to find Taehyung. There seems to be a delay. The wedding coordinator places a comforting hand on Wyan's shoulder. We're doing everything we can to locate him. Sometimes things don't go as planned, but let's remain hopeful. Wyan nods, trying to muster up some courage amidst the uncertainty. Time seems to stretch on endlessly as minutes turn into what feel like hours, passing. Every second feels heavier than the last. Finally, after a long wait, the doors of the venue swing open and all heads turn towards the entrance. It was him, but there was something off. He was not dressed in his wedding suit, his face expressionless while his eyes were red and swollen. Taehyung, where have you been? I was so worried. Wine asks once her lover stands beside her. Her initial frustration melts away, replaced by a mixture of relief and confusion. Instead of replying to Wyan, Tae looks at the priest with his eyes cold, signaling him to start the ceremony. Do you, Park Wyan, take Kim Taehyung as your newly wedded husband? The priest asks, and Wyan replies instantly, I do. She then smiles at Taehyung, who was still looking at Wyan with his gaze sharp and piercing. Do you, Kim Taehyung, take Park Wyan as your newly wedded wife? The priest then asked Taehyung, who stood there silent for a few minutes, making everyone, including Wyan's grandpa, confused. I don't, Tae replied, with his face showing no emotions again. Wyan whispered, still in denial. Stop joking around, Taehyung. This is not the time. I am not joking. I am breaking ties with you. Several guests were heard across the hall. But why? What's the reason? Did I do something wrong? Wyan asked, suddenly panicking, her eyes filling up with tears. Oh no, definitely not. You did not do anything wrong. It was me. I was a fool who trusted you and loved you like crazy. Taehyung said his words bitter with a smile on his face that was killing Wyan. There's nothing left to talk about. You betrayed me. You betrayed my father. You betrayed everyone. And I, the idiot I am, believed you every time. They said through his gritted teeth. What are you talking about? Diane asked as tears rolled down her cheeks. You sent the police to her house, right? Taehyung asked, his voice low and deep. What? I don't want to hear any excuses. You were fighting a case against my father, weren't you? Taehyung's expression changed, his face, his eyes clearly showed how hurt he was. I hate you, Park Wyan. Never show your damn face to me ever again. They took his engagement ring off, putting it in Wyan's hand before getting off the stage and walking towards the huge gate, making his way out of the venue. He harshly wiped a stray tear that fell from his eye and went out. As soon as he did, Wyan collapsed on the floor, losing her senses. She fainted. The room is dimly lit with heavy curtains drawn over the windows. The air feels heavy, filled with a sense of melancholy. Vine walks out of her room with slouched shoulders and tired eyes. She looks disheveled, wearing the same clothes she had on for the past 2 days. Vine's footsteps echo through the silent house as she carefully makes her way into the living room. Her heart skips a beat when she sees Grandpa sitting on a worn out sofa facing the window. Grandpa appears motionless, lost in his thoughts. Grandpa, are you okay? She asks, making her way towards the old man. Grandpa, she calls, shaking him softly. When her grandfather didn't respond her again, Vine panicked.